Whoa, sorry, thank you. My name is Jennifer Chet. I am a Queens parent of 2 students with IEPs, and I am a special education advocate at Special Support Services. I'm also the founder of an 800-member group of parents called New York City Parents of Teens with Disabilities. I'm so grateful to you today, Chair Joseph, and the Education Committee for talking about the $1 billion problem that we have in special education payments. And on that point, I've brought a few points to share and for you to consider. Did you know, I think you know, but for the rest of the committee members, did you know that a school is paid for providing special education teacher services in groups of 8 the same as they're paid for groups of 1? So even if you have a group of 2, and even though that requires more teachers, the payment is the same. Did you know that there is almost no school in New York City that provides integrated co-teaching services or self-contained classes in career technical education courses? And these are classes that lead to ready-to-use technical skill certification programs upon graduation. Did you know that there is almost no school in the city that offers special education services for students learning a world language, even though that is required for graduation? And did you know that if a certain class in a school had only 3 students that needed ICT, that the funding that came with each student who needed it would not amount to a teacher's salary? Teachers don't come in pieces, but the current funding formula treats them like they do. So the reason is clear. It's the Fair Student Funding Formula that does not allow a school to have more money to hire more teachers when students need these services. Yet, the Department of Education is installing, the DOE is installing more programs, but the $1 billion is due to schools not being able to give the students what they really need. At IEP meetings, parents are told that the school does not have the resources to provide what the parents are asking for. This is absolutely illegal. But in truth, that answer is better than the answer that parents usually get, which is they're told that the inappropriate progress that their child is making is just fine. At some point, you have to wonder if it's the formula that is preventing an accessible education to students with disabilities, or if it's the pervasive bias that views our students as not capable of doing more. So what do families do? Double income families become single income families so that a parent can compensate for the lack of quality education and advocate for better services. Parents with means will hire tutors and lawyers, but parents without means cannot. That is inequity within the world of special education in New York City. Therefore, I ask the Education Committee today, please use your budgetary, your legislative, your community leadership powers and abilities to help our most vulnerable New Yorkers contribute to their families, their community, and our city's economy. I have attached evidence from actual DOE schools that demonstrates the pattern that I'm discussing today, as well as an example of a DOE schools that treats their students with dignity. And I just got a message from the school that they are greeting you and welcoming you to their school, Townsend Harris High School, with open arms. They would love for you to visit. Thank you.
Jennifer, could you describe some of the ways that you've tried to get children with disability equal access and what happened afterwards?
Thank you so much for your question. So my work with individual families is I'll take them to IEP meetings. And so just this past year, I had a student in a self-contained class, and he's on track to graduate. He's on standardized assessment, but his reading level is very low, and it's been that way. So, he should get sets, but I've never seen a student in a 12-to-1 class or Horizon 8-to-1, and nobody will get sets. It's like I don't know what happened. It doesn't work. Like it's like repellent from it. They just did. And, so that's like something, you can have all the evidence up to here, but apparently he's still okay. That's always what you hear. And then the song comes like, but you can get an impartial hearing, as if it's that easy for any parent to do. The other day, a couple of weeks ago, no, maybe it was last week. Literally, like someone said to me, to my client, like, that having 13 IEP goals was highly, highly, highly unusual, and this is for somebody in a self-contained class with needing related services. I don't know why 13 goals is so highly unusual that, it was a declarative statement. So like people are used to this. They're just used to it. Like everybody does that. They'll say that. And like, in the evidence that I shared with you, they'll talk about how, CTE is not in the ICT program, as if ICT is the place and CTE is the service. It's the other way around. And, so there is no rule against having, like most of these career technical education schools have like more students with IEPs in these schools. And I don't know how it's just a given that you don't get it. You don't get a language other than English exemption. You don't get special education in language other than English, even if you're dyslexic, which is like a language-based learning disability. And yet, they'll give you the exemption to graduate after you've failed a course or two, ruining your GPA. It's just I can go on, but I won't. I'm sorry.
Thank you so much for that. Children's Law Center